On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, learn about a new program that's renewing infrastructure in O'Fallon neighborhoods. See how a local school district is growing their own teachers. And get a behind-the-scenes tour of O'Fallon's communications team. All this and more next on O'Fallon Matters. Welcome to O'Fallon Matters. Soon, veterans of our county will get a museum that will tell their heroic stories. Brett Fickus is here with an update on the construction of the St. Charles County Veterans Museum.
For as long as the United States have existed, men and women have answered the call of duty and stepped up to serve and protect their country on behalf of their fellow Americans. Across distant oceans and faraway lands, the members of our armed forces have served with distinction, integrity, and pride. Here in O'Fallon, we've always strived to recognize and honor the sacrifices our servicemen and women have made throughout history. And we're both humbled and excited that our community was selected as the home of the St. Charles County Veterans Museum. If you're not familiar with the story of the Veterans Museum, it's the conclusion of a long-time dream.
Well, it's been a dream of mine for a number of years. I've heard that people have memorabilia from their dads or grandfathers or uncles or somebody, you know. It's stuff like that should be in a museum and not in a box downstairs in a basement or up in the attic somewhere. So that's why we like to have a museum.
World War II veteran Ralph Borelli was no stranger to service. He fought during the Battle of the Bulge and helped liberate the concentration camp at Dachau. Here at home, his service took a different shape, as he was a tireless advocate for veterans. He was instrumental in the naming of Veterans Memorial Parkway, and he spearheaded the construction of Veterans Memorial Park in Lake St. Louis. And his crowning achievement will be the creation of the St. Charles County Veterans Museum. Dedicated to those killed in action in all conflicts of the 20th century forward, the museum will have constantly shifting displays of fascinating items, and donations are still being requested.
Oh, we have all kind of donations coming in, uniforms, gear that veterans used, rifles, I mean, you name it, it runs the whole gamut. It's unbelievable the amount of stuff that some people kept.
Unfortunately, this story took a bittersweet turn. Ralph will never see the grand opening of his dream, as he passed away a short while ago. But his legacy will live on in the museum, kept alive by his loving wife, his family, and the entire community that came together to ensure the success of his final dream.
It's a tremendous feeling. I'm so proud to be involved with the museum, and proud of his service and everything that he did for the veterans and everything.
This is really exciting to me. Being a person that was kind of handpicked by Ralph to be on this committee to help make this dream of his come true. And now seeing all of the support that we're getting from the community, it's not even exciting anymore, it's just overwhelming. It's so wonderful, and how people have really stepped up to the plate, because it's only going to be as good as we make it as a community. So I'm just loving every minute of it.
A lot of work remains to be done with the museum before it can open its doors, and the St. Charles County Veterans Museum is actively seeking stories and memorabilia. If you'd like to donate items, money, expertise, or time, they'd love to talk to you. You can get more info about helping out by heading to stcharlescountyveteransmuseum.com. The grand opening is tentatively set for April 12th, and we're incredibly excited to see Ralph's dream finally become reality.
We are hoping that it looks great and people come to enjoy it and also appreciate what veterans had to go through, and also be educational for the kids to realize that, you know, freedom isn't free. There's sacrifices that have to be made to keep that freedom.
This new project will renew North O'Fallon's aging sewer pipes using an innovative lining technique. Now let's check in with Water and Sewer to find out how the program will help residents.
Over the years, you may have noticed several construction projects taking place along Main Street and subdivisions within North O'Fallon. This area of the city contains aging infrastructure that needs updating. And thanks to Renew O'Fallon, those updates are currently taking place. In the Forest Park subdivision, there are miles of sewer pipes that are reaching their age limits.
We have about 220 miles worth of sanitary sewer system, and it's some of it's 60+ years old, and it's clay tile and it's deteriorating and collapsing.
To solve the issue, the City of O'Fallon has contracted with SAK Construction to install cured pipe in place of the old sewer lines. The goal of this program is to reduce groundwater intrusion in the sanitary sewer collection system, which must be pumped through lift stations and treated at the wastewater treatment plant.
We're going to insert a structural lining into the pipe. This becomes the new pipe. It is structural, so it can withstand time. There's no real end date on the pipe. They say 100 years, probably outlast that, but we're lining it in order to save money for the city and to save headaches to residents, where instead of digging up their yards, digging up their driveways, and then having to restore that, we can go from manhole to manhole with the liner, and it's less invasive to the property owners that way.
Now, over the next year, SAK Construction will line approximately 12 miles of sanitary sewer main. This pipelining will renew these sanitary mains, protecting them from further deterioration and failure.
So when you install the liner will temporarily interrupt service from a house, a business. By temporary, it's only about a 2-hour window. During that 2 hours, they're going to ask that no baths, no showers, no dishwashers, no laundry. That puts in a lot of water into the system, and it could be enough that it could overcome the sewer lateral while it's temporarily blocked off. After the sewer liner has cured, they do send a robot up the liner to each lateral, and they do cut an opening so that your sewer lateral will discharge back into the sewer main.
For any questions regarding the sewer lining project, or to find out if your residents will be affected, please call 636-379-7600 or visit ofallon.mo.us.
O'Fallon's only African American cemetery was honored with a designation that will never be forgotten. Joe Meyer has more.
Sage Chapel Cemetery was established in 1881. And since its founding, Sage Chapel has been the resting place for some of O'Fallon's prominent African Americans. Now, Sage Chapel has approximately 111 burials documented by either death certificates, obituaries, or oral tradition. There are 30 headstones and 3 other family-marked graves. At least 20 of those buried at Sage Chapel were born as slaves.
So Sage Chapel Cemetery is an African American cemetery that's located off of Veterans Memorial Parkway. Actually, it's located adjacent to the O'Fallon VFW, and it's been there for over 100 years. And until probably the last 5-10 years, there was a lot of people in O'Fallon that didn't even know the cemetery or what its significance was.
Throughout the decades of O'Fallon growth, Sage Chapel lost its identity. After years of neglect, a group of citizens led by Phyllis Hayden and Jim Frayne educated residents on the importance of this eternal cemetery. In fact, a new sign was erected, and the City of O'Fallon lent a hand by cleaning up the cemetery. Plus, a World War I veteran named Howard Morris was finally given a proper military funeral. Eventually, O'Fallon's Historic Preservation Commission decided that Sage Chapel Cemetery would be a candidate to be on the National Register of Historic Places.
So the process that begins with a National Registry nomination begins with a nomination form itself, which goes to the State Historic Preservation Office. But before it goes to the State Historic Preservation Office, because O'Fallon is a certified local government, we have a Historic Preservation Commission, and one of the responsibilities that commission has is to review and recommend any National Registry nominations within the city. And so they were tasked with reviewing the recommendation for the nomination, which they did unanimously approve.
Historic Preservation Commissioner Doris Keevan-Franke and researcher Justin Watkins traveled to Jeff City, where Justin presented preliminary facts that would make Sage eligible for nomination to the National Register of Historic Places.
So we received notice back in December that in November that the site was officially accepted into the National Registry, and now that's O'Fallon's second entry into the National Registry. So we're quite happy with that, and it says a lot for that cemetery because you don't see many cemeteries that make the National Registry. So it is a big deal, and it speaks volumes about the historic significance of Sage Chapel.
Thanks for that story, Joe. It's quite an honor to have Sage Chapel in the National Register of Historic Places. Next on O'Fallon Matters, see how the Fort Zumwalt School District is growing their own teachers from our community.
Here in the city of O'Fallon, we are fortunate to have award-winning schools in our own backyard. And the Fort Zumwalt School District continues to innovate with unique programs for students and educators alike. Fort Zumwalt knows all too well that finding excellent teachers from within our community can be a challenge. So in response to this challenge, the district decided to simply grow their own. And that's where our story begins. Back in 2005, former Deputy Superintendent Patty Coram launched the Grow Your Own Teacher program to respond to the need for teachers certified in special education, math, science, and industrial tech.
I saw a few people put 9.
For us, we're a district of 18,000 students, so we thought, why not look at our own students who want to be teachers and see what we can do to support that endeavor. So the Board of Education gave Dr. Coram a priority of, let's look at some programs out there that help to attract or build up teachers in those high needs areas. And that's where our Grow Your Own Teacher program came from.
In exchange for agreeing to teach in the Fort Zumwalt School District, students receive a forgivable loan of $3,000 per semester, money raised by the Fort Zumwalt Education Foundation.
You're doing a good job.
Besides the financial assistance, students also get mentoring that begins in high school and continues through college and student teaching.
Throughout that 4-year period that they're in school, we're meeting with them approximately 3 times a year, mentoring them, staying in touch with them, making sure they feel very supported in their work towards becoming a teacher. And they student teach with us, that's a requirement. Regardless if they're at SEMO or wherever they're at, they have to come back here and student teach. And then we find the best placement for them, the best fit for them within our district once they have finished that.
8 to the negative 2.
As of 2018, there are 11 Grow Your Own teachers in the district and 11 students in college. Fort Zumwalt East math teacher Marissa Thayer went through the program, and she is so thankful that Fort Zumwalt offered a program like Grow Your Own Teacher.
On top or bottom?
I knew that I had always wanted to be a teacher, and so from a student aspect, if you want to be a teacher in a high needs area and you can have the support of the district throughout your college education, and then in your first years of teaching, that is just an immeasurable gain for you. From the district standpoint, we're able to really truly grow and develop the best teachers and right from our own, so we're able to keep the amazing people that we're growing and then keep them in our schools to teach our young kids.
And research shows that growing your own teachers is a fantastic way to create a continuous supply of quality educators who are truly invested in their community.
They feel like it's an ownership. They went to school there. That's their school district. They are going to give 110% to those students. They want to see those students be successful just like they were successful. And the students get a great role model of, here's someone who came right through the same educational system I'm coming through, and look where they're at. It's a role model that's been through the same process that student
we all have
is
it.
going through.
We're going to start with a homework check. When you are done and you get the stamp and you turn it in up here.
O'Fallon's Chamber of Commerce and Industries recently announced the appointment of a new president and CEO, Kathy Duck. We got a chance to sit down with Kathy and explore her vision for O'Fallon's commercial growth.
Economic growth is the lifeblood of any community, and O'Fallon is no different. As a growing city of over 85,000 residents, O'Fallon's booming businesses provide jobs for our residents, and tax dollars generated by shopping in the O help the city develop our beautiful parks and maintain our civic infrastructure. And on Bryan Road, there's an organization that shares our interest in economic development. Their tireless work promoting our businesses has helped O'Fallon remain an economic powerhouse in St. Charles County.
The O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce is here to represent businesses in our community, to help them get the education that they need to become a leading business in their industry, to empower them as both leaders and their staff and their managers, and then also to connect them so they do business with one another, all so they can expand. A business growing in O'Fallon is success to the Chamber because we want to see economic prosperity for O'Fallon.
Kathy Duck was recently appointed as the new president and CEO of the O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce and Industries, but she's already a familiar sight at ribbon cuttings, networking functions, and business growth events. Kathy brings years of experience to the O'Fallon Chamber, and the members of the Chamber are excited about the energy and vision Kathy's bringing to her new role.
My husband and I moved from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was the executive director of small business at the Tulsa Regional Chamber. I took care of businesses with 50 or less employees, and it ran like a chamber within a chamber. So we had our own programming committees, things like that, had our own board. This was just the right step because it was taking a step forward, entering a new community where I could bring my experience and a vision, and a really exciting community too.
Kathy already has a number of ideas she's looking to implement, and we're excited to see her vision for economic growth take shape in our community. The Chamber of Commerce and Industries is here to help our O'Fallon businesses, and they'd love to talk to you to see how they can help your business succeed.
We invite any business to come to our doors and see what we have in store for them. We can help them, again, with educational opportunities for both their staff and the owners. We can help them connect to other businesses, help connect to consumers. We want to see them grow. That's success to us. We also can connect them with other resource partners like SCORE or the EDC, because we're all in this together. So we want to be a resource to the businesses and to the community. So if there's questions or challenges that somebody's facing, we want to be here for them and be a champion for them.
From city festivals, municipal updates, and governmental meetings, this city department is here to help you stay informed about your community.
When you flip through the pages of the O'Fallon Parks and Rec Guide to find the perfect event for your family, or watch a short video on local businesses through the O'Fallon Business Map and Directory, you're seeing the work of O'Fallon's Communications Department. In fact, this department works through a variety of media sources to ensure that O'Fallon residents like you can stay up to date on everything happening in your city.
Our mission statement is really to be the public face and the public relations arm for the city, and really reach out to our residents as much as possible and give them a glimpse into what the city's doing. It's our job to let them see into City Hall, understand what's going on, and then also just make them aware of all the great things going on around O'Fallon.
The quarterly city newsletter and Parks and Rec Guide continue to be a great way to learn about your city. These publications, which can also be viewed on the city's website, include news from the mayor, information about events, and important updates on public works projects. Mailed to every household in O'Fallon, the combined newsletter and Parks and Rec Guide is an invaluable resource for residents. The Communications Department also develops and maintains a number of websites, each of which offers a wealth of information to residents. From the Parks and Rec Department website, which is full of great events and festivals coming up in our city, to Select O'Fallon, which is the perfect resource for businesses seeking to relocate to our community. Our goal is to ensure everything you'd like to know about your community is just a mouse click away.
Our department produces 6 websites. We try to keep information as up to date as possible, working with other departments, making sure residents have the latest information available.
Videos, like the one you're watching now, are also produced by our communications department for OFallonTV, the City of O'Fallon's 24-hour government access cable station. The mission of OFallonTV is to inform and educate viewers about city operations, programs, services, and events that make O'Fallon such a great place to live. With 5 flagship television shows, you can step inside local businesses, see how organizations are making a difference in our community, and find out what's coming up in our parks. The channel also airs government meetings and workshops from the O'Fallon City Council, as well as all of our city commissions and boards. You can watch OFallonTV programming on Digital Charter Channel 991 and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. You can also watch OFallonTV's original programming live and on demand at the city's website, as well as on YouTube at www.youtube.com/OFallonTV.
Whenever we have programming that reaches a lot of people, it's very satisfying, not only for our team, but the city as a whole, because anything we can do to help residents out or help staff out is a big plus for the entire organization and the community.
A new addition to the communications department is our Facebook page, which has quickly become our quickest way to get the word out about important information.
We've had our Facebook page now for just a little bit over a year. And we started off slow and we weren't really sure what kind of response we would have, but our response has been amazing. We've probably grown over 150% in just the last 6 months. Our videos are getting great response, and anytime we have something major going on in the city, we're able to post that very quick, and we've had amazing response to those posts.
No matter how you'd like to get news about your hometown, O'Fallon's Communications Department has put together a variety of sources that will quickly get you up to date. This department works tirelessly in helping you get the most out of everything our community has to offer.
It's such an honor to come to work with such creative and intelligent people who really take their job seriously. I joke with my boss that, you know, I'm not the one that they need, it's the people that work for me that really count here and make the big difference. And it's because they're so great and so talented and they care so much about what they do.
Thanks for joining us today. If you have a good story idea, let us know. You can email us at OFallonTV@ofallon.mo.us. And remember to give back to your community, because O'Fallon matters to all of us.